I didn't block anyone. I just powered down. For 2 quiet weeks in a new city, my phone lived in a drawer next to a single house key and a receipt for a second-hand lamp. It was the first time since I was 12 that no one could reach me on demand. This morning, I took the phone out, set it on the kitchen counter of my little studio in San Diego, and pressed the button. Screen on. Signal up. And then buzz. 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 6 voicemails stacked in a row like dominoes, each with a familiar name. My sister. My mom. My dad. My sister again. And 2 more I knew before I looked. If you're watching this on your phone, tell me, where would you go if family pressure got too loud? Beach? Mountains? A friend's couch? I thought disappearing made me selfish. I'm starting to think it just made me honest. 2 weeks ago, at a dinner table in Des Moines set with the good plates, my family asked me to fund my sister Kira's app, $75,000. My parents had already emptied a big slice of their retirement to get her started. They called it a vote of faith. When I said no, they called me something else. Selfish. I didn't yell. I didn't list every chore I did as a kid or every holiday I swallowed to make room for someone else's plan. I just picked up my coat, drove home, and booked a one-way ticket. I told work I needed to leave. I rented a small place near the water because I wanted to hear something steady at night. And then I turned my phone off. Now it's on. 6 messages wait. I pour a glass of water and press the first one. Kira's voice fills the room, fast and tight. Naomi, where are you? Investors want updates. You not helping is making this worse. Call me back now. Delete. Second message. My mother's tone, soft but practiced. Honey, we're worried. Families disagree, it happens. Your sister needs you. Please call. Third message. My father. This vanishing act is irresponsible. We told them you'd contribute. You're making us look foolish. I pause and set the phone down. The kettle clicks off. The ocean breathes in the distance like a slow, clear metronome. I used to treat every call like a fire alarm. Today I make tea. There are 3 messages left. People say, it gets worse before it gets better. I don't know if that's true. I only know the 4th message sounds like a different person. My sister without her armor. The 5th has a hospital name. The 6th says the word foreclosure. I will play them all. I will call the hospital myself. I will write down facts before I move a single dollar. You're going to hear everything I heard, what I chose, and why I didn't run back with a check like always. Because sometimes keeping the peace just keeps the problem. And sometimes the kindest word you can say to everyone is still no. If any of this feels familiar, you're not alone. Hit subscribe if calm decisions beating chaos is your kind of story. I'm Naomi. This is how 6 messages didn't break me. They finally made me clear. I grew up on the east side of Des Moines in a small split level with a maple tree that dropped leaves like confetti every fall. My parents, Walter and Jean, are steady people, lists on the fridge, coupons in a drawer, the same church every Sunday. They love order. They also loved reminding me that I was the oldest. Naomi, you set the tone, my dad would say, handing me a dish towel. I learned what that meant before I learned long division. If the sink was full, I washed. If the laundry buzzer rang, I folded. If Kira had a project due, I quizzed her while stirring spaghetti. It wasn't cruel. It was constant. Kira is 6 years younger, bright and warm, a kid who drew stars on her sneakers and named the neighborhood squirrels. When she forgot her lunch, my mom drove it to school. When I forgot mine, I built character and split a granola bar with a friend. That was the math. My responsibility multiplied. Her freedom stayed whole. In middle school, I asked to join the band, clarinet. Practice was before class, 3 days a week. My mom looked at the schedule and shook her head. It will pull focus from your grades. 2 years later, Kira wanted hip-hop lessons across town. The calendar changed. Gas money appeared. She needs an outlet, my dad said. I clapped at her recitals and ironed my honor roll certificates flat. Our bedrooms told the story without speeches. Mine held a sturdy desk, a second-hand lamp, shelves of library paperbacks. Kira's room shifted with each new phase, string lights, a collage wall, a fuzzy rug that shed like a small dog. When I asked for a new bed frame senior year, my mom said we'd make do. When Kira wanted a TV at 12, my parents called it a treat for her creativity. At 16, I got a job bagging groceries at Harlan's Market. I liked the click of the register and the way cash felt stacked and squared. Every pay period, I put half into savings and the rest into the family jar on the counter: gas, light bill, pizza night if it had been a good week. Kira got an allowance to learn spending. She learned joy at the mall with friends. I learned how to keep receipts. My 17th birthday fell on the same Saturday as Kira's regional dance event. I didn't mind skipping a party. I minded getting home at almost 11 to a melting ice cream cake and a candle my dad had to light twice. "We'll celebrate next weekend," my mom said, kissing my cheek. Next weekend turned into midterms. I scraped frosting off the cardboard and told myself it didn't matter. College came with the same tone. I wanted art history. My dad said, "Love it on weekends. Major in something that pays." I picked finance because I wanted peace more than I wanted lectures. Scholarships covered part, loans covered more, and my shifts at the campus cafe filled the rest. When I came home on breaks, there was always one more thing to fix: set up the Wi-Fi, compare insurance quotes, proofread Kira's essays. "You're good at this," my mom would say. I was. That didn't mean it was free. If you've been the dependable one, you know this feeling. People stop asking whether you can. They assume you will. You build muscles for carrying, and no one sees the weight. By the time I was 34, I had a small emergency fund, a quiet apartment, and a plan to build my own financial practice in 2 years. I thought that steady work and steady love would finally balance the ledger. Then my mom texted, "Family dinner. Big news for Kira." She added a plate emoji and a heart. The good plates would be on the table. I didn't yet know they were setting a price. My parents only used the dining room on holidays. That night, the good plates sat under linen napkins, and lemons floated in the water glasses like it was Easter. My dad wore a button-down instead of his weekend polo. My mom had the roast carved before I hung up my coat. It felt staged. It was. Kira was already at the head of the table with her laptop open and a neat stack of folders. She stood to hug me. Her perfume smelled like vanilla and big plans. "We'll eat first," my mom said, too bright. She served pre-plated portions instead of the usual family style. Small talk tried to act normal. Weather. A neighbor's new puppy. A coupon mistake at the grocery store. I could feel the presentation breathing in the room. Dessert landed early. My dad cleared his throat. "Kira has something important," he said, pride tucked into each word. "We've seen a preview, but she wanted you here for the full thing." Kira tapped the spacebar. A slick logo popped up, True North. "Dating is broken," she began, voice steady, eyes on me. "People waste months on their wrong matches. True North fixes that with AI." She talked about long questionnaires, social media analysis, micro reactions, measured by the phone camera, and a pulse check while viewing profiles. "We combine it into a chemistry score," she said. "Our pilot will show 98% predictive accuracy." No more guesswork. I watched the slides. Pretty gradients. Confident words. Missing bones. "Who's building the model?" I asked, keeping my tone calm. "You'll need a data team." "I'll hire developers," she said, waving it off. "The concept is the hard part, and it's mine." "What about privacy laws?" I said. "You're asking for biometric signals. People's faces. Their accounts. You'll need strong consent and legal help." "We'll cover it," she said. "Everyone shares everything already." My dad leaned forward. "Honey, think big. This could be the one." "Market plan?" I asked. "Dating apps are crowded. What gets your first 10,000 users?" "Influencer push," Kira said. "College campuses. It'll catch fire." I opened the folder with my name on it. The business plan had mock-ups, taglines, and a timeline with boxes that said things like launch and go viral. No unit costs. No runway math. No legal budget. No team bios. "It's ambitious," I said honestly. "But I'm not seeing projections. Or a real security plan. Or a dev budget by phase." My mom reached for my hand. "We believe in her, Naomi. That's why we've already invested." I looked up. "Already?" My dad nodded, jaw set. "We took 50,000 from my IRA. Early, yes, but worth it. Family's back dreams." My stomach went warm, then cold. "Dad, Early withdrawals have penalties and taxes. Did you talk to an advisor? We'll manage, he said. We need one more investor to do this right. Kira met my eyes. You, she said softly like a wish. 75,000. It gets us the team and launch. You'll have equity. The room went quiet except for the clock that never ticks until you need time. I breathed in. 75,000 is my entire build-a-practice fund, I said. I can help you shape a real plan. I can introduce you to people, but I can't wire that money. Silence. Then the script I knew too well. So you won't help your sister, my dad said, heat rising. You always think small, Kira added, her turning sharp. This is once in a lifetime. My mom's voice softened into guilt. Honey, we've given you so much. Sometimes you give back. A line drew itself across the table like a seam. On one side, faith without numbers. On the other, numbers that didn't hate faith, just asked for guardrails. I'm not your enemy, I said steady. I'm asking the questions an investor asks. Their faces told me the vote had already been taken without me. I put my napkin on the plate and felt my hands stop shaking. I didn't argue. I just knew the next chapter of my life would not start at this table. The table stayed set like a stage after the audience left. I looked at the lemon slices, the neat forks, the folder with my name. I thought about the number in my savings account and what it stood for. A small office, a clean website, a year of rent while I built a client list. Not luxury. A plan. I can't invest 75,000, I said, steady and low. I will help in other ways, real ones. We can map costs by phase, find a developer to scope the MVP, test a small beta with clear consent screens, talk to a lawyer about data rules. I'll give time and introduce you to people, but I won't risk my entire future on a plan that isn't ready. Kira's eyebrows pinched. You don't believe in me. I believe in work that matches the numbers, I said. Belief and a budget can live in the same room. My dad's chair scraped. This family has always stepped up. Your sister finally has a shot, and you say no? After everything we've put into you? The phrase hit hard. What you've put into me, I repeated. Dad, Mom, I've been paying since 16. I helped with bills. I chose the major you wanted. I took shifts to cover books. I visit, fix, explain, compare, file. I love you. But love isn't a blank check. My mom's mouth trembled. We raised you. We sacrificed too. I know, I said softer. That's why I'm offering help that won't sink me. Kira folded her arms. It's small thinking. You're scared. I'm careful, I said. There's a difference. My dad leaned forward. You act like we ask too much. We didn't even touch your college fund back then. We left that alone. My mom flinched. The room went still. She glanced at him, then at me. Walter, she said, warning in her tone. What college fund? I asked. My mom smoothed the napkin edge. Your grandparents left something. We had to use it for Kira's training years ago. We always meant to replace it. The words landed like a door closing in a quiet house. So I took out loans, I said, because the fund with my name paid for competitions. We were trying to help her potential, my dad said. You were solid. You didn't need it. I nodded once. It explained many small, sharp memories I couldn't quite sort before. Thank you for telling me, I said. My voice surprised me, calm. Now you know why I can't move the line. Kira looked at me, then away. It's always been easier for you, she said, but the sentence had no weight left. I stood up and pushed my chair in. I'm leaving before we say things we can't take back. I won't invest my savings. I will help you do this right if you want help. If you don't, that's your choice. Naomi. My mom called, reaching out. Don't walk out. I'm not walking out of your lives, I said, picking up my coat. I'm walking out of this pattern. No one followed me to the door. The porch light hummed. The air smelled like rain and roasted onions. I sat in my car and let the quiet hold me. On the drive home, I counted what I could control. I could set a boundary. I could take a leave from work. I could change my zip code if I had to. I could choose to be the adult in my own story, not the safety net in someone else's. At a red light, my phone lit up with a text from my mom. We'll talk tomorrow. I turned the screen face down on the passenger seat. Tomorrow could wait. Tonight, I drew a line and did not step over it. The next morning, I didn't make a pros and cons list. I already knew the answer. If I stayed, I would be dragged back into the same argument until I was too tired to hold the line. If I left, I could keep the line and maybe keep myself. At 8:02 a.m., I emailed my manager, requesting a short personal leave, 2 weeks, possibly 3. I added a simple sentence. Family situation, I'll document my files and hand off today. She called within 10 minutes. Are you okay? She asked. I will be, I said, and meant it. I spent the next 6 hours clearing my desk, clean notes, passwords transferred, client summaries labeled so anyone could step in. Being reliable is hard to unlearn. I didn't try. I just used it for me this time. At lunch, I opened a map of the West Coast and looked for a place that sounded like breathing. San Diego had lived in my head since a conference video years ago. Water, light, a harbor full of small, steady boats. I searched for studios. Found one 6 blocks from the ocean with a kitchenette and a view of a brick wall. It was available in a week. I applied, got approved by evening, and wired the deposit decision. Then motion. I called a mover who did partial packs. 2 rooms, I said. Take the basics to storage. Ship 6 boxes and 2 suitcases west. I kept a small pile, laptop, 3 changes of clothes, a kettle, 2 mugs I actually liked, and the photo of me at 22 holding my first apartment keys. The apartment office charged me a fee to end my lease early. I paid it. Money can be earned again. Time and peace, not always. I canceled internet, forwarded mail to a P.O. box, and dropped a note to the neighbor who always brought my packages inside when it rained. Gone for a while, thank you for watching out for me. My phone kept lighting up, texts, missed calls, a group thread with my parents and Kira. I turned it face down, then I turned it off. Not forever. Just long enough to think in a complete sentence. On Friday, the movers wrapped my desk like a fragile thing. It had been my command center for spreadsheets and plans. Now it was just furniture. I watched them carry it out and felt something leave with it. The idea that I had to be reachable to be good. At the airport, I traveled light. 2 bags checked, 1 carry-on that fit under the seat. The plane climbed above a thick blanket of gray and leveled into blue. I didn't cry. I didn't celebrate. I just breathed and counted the seconds between the captain's updates. Somewhere over the desert, I fell asleep for 20 minutes and woke up without the usual jolt of guilt. San Diego met me with sun bright enough to make me squint. I took a rideshare to the studio. It was small, clean, and quiet. The brick wall outside the window was plain and honest. I set the kettle on the stove, unrolled a mattress pad, and sat on the floor with my knees up and my back against the cabinet. The ocean sounded like a distant fan. I wrote 3 sentences on a sticky note and stuck it to the fridge. Keep the boundary. Spend only what you choose. Call when you're ready, not when you're pushed. Then I slid my phone into the drawer with the spare key and closed it softly. For the first time in years, nothing in the room asked me for anything. San Diego teaches you to look up. Even on side streets, the sky feels wide. I walked it in simple loops, down to the corner market, left to the bus stop, right to the little cafe with the wobbly tables. I didn't set goals. I learned the crosswalk times and which block smells like oranges at noon. I cooked basic food, eggs, rice, greens. I ate by the window and watched light move across the brick like a slow tide. I kept receipts out of habit, then put them in a drawer and shut it. No spreadsheets. Not yet. On the second afternoon, I took the 923 bus to the water. The ocean did its work without speeches, waves in, waves out. I sat on a bench and let strangers' conversations drift past. A child counted gulls. A runner cursed the wind and then laughed at himself. I didn't think about money for 10 full minutes. That felt like a record. The phone stayed in the kitchen drawer. It tugged at me sometimes, muscle memory, not need. I would reach for a pocket that wasn't buzzing and find only my hand. The quiet wasn't empty. It was space. On day 3, a woman asked to share my cafe table. Full house, she said, sliding a tea down with care. She was about my age, with short hair tucked behind one ear and paint on the knuckle of her thumb. Naomi, I said. Carmen, she said. Graphic designer. Building a poster for a surf shop that swears it hates fonts. She grinned. Do you live nearby? Just moved, I said. From Iowa. Bold, she said. Or sane. Depends on who's judging. She tapped the extra chair. Keep it. Sometimes it helps to see someone else working on their own life. We didn't trade stories. We traded small things. The bakery runs out of sourdough by 3. The bus back is quieter after 7. The thrift shop on Juniper has a corner of frames that sell for $2 if the glass is scratched. We met twice more that week without planning it. We nodded like neighbors and let silence sit with us. Guilt visited on and off, like fog. It came when I bought a second mug just because it had a small chip that looked like a crescent moon. It came when I slept through my usual alarm and didn't sprint to catch up. It came when I stood on the pier at sunset and felt happy without asking permission. Relief visited too. It stood next to me while I folded towels warm from the dryer. It sat in the single chair as I ate a late dinner of noodles and butter and pepper. It walked me home when the air cooled and the streetlights blinked on, one by one. I wrote simple rules on a notebook page. Answer only after I understand the facts. Help only in ways that don't erase me. No more solving problems I didn't help make. At night, I read library ebooks until my eyes got heavy. Not finance manuals, novels where people make small, brave choices and nobody plays a violin over the hard parts. I fell asleep to the hum of a neighbor's fan and the sound of some distant late train. On day 10, Carmen waved me over and opened a map. Best cheap views, she said, circling spots with a pencil. Also, avoid this taco stand on Mondays. Trust me. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet, she said. Wait until you try the one on beach. 2 weeks is not a long time. It's long enough to remember you have a center. On the morning of day 14, I stood in my small kitchen and made tea. I took the phone from the drawer and set it next to the kettle. I wasn't hiding. I was ready to listen like an adult, to write things down, to separate fear from fact. The screen lit when I pressed the button. 6 voicemails stacked in a neat line. I pulled a chair out, sat down, and pressed play. I press play and rest my elbows on the small table. The room is quiet except for the fridge hum and the ocean's slow breath through a cracked window. Message 1. Kira. Her voice is fast, like she is late for something. Naomi, where are you? Investors want updates. They're asking about the runway. You not helping is making this worse. You know how to talk to people like this. Call me back now. I watched the second hand on my thrift store clock climb to the 12. Old reflexes reach for a fire extinguisher that isn't there. I let them pass. I sip my tea. Runway. Investors. Worse because I didn't wire money. I write 3 words on a pad. Assumptions. Timeline. Terms. When I used to fix things, I jumped straight to solutions. Now I list facts I don't have. I replay the last line. Call me back now. Kira loves now. It has kept her from asking how. I delete and press the next. Message 2, Mom. Honey, we're worried. Her voice is soft and sweet, practiced over years of making hard asks feel like hugs. Families disagree, it happens. We shouldn't have raised voices. Please call. Your sister needs you. She's under so much pressure. I close my eyes and picture the dining room in Des Moines. Lemon slices, the good plates, the folder with my name. Pressure has always rolled downhill to me, like a ball that knows the easiest path. Mom says we a lot when she means you. We are worried. We should move fast. We need you. I write another line. Worry plan. Worry is a feeling. Plans are choices. For years, I treated their worry like a to-do list with my name on it. It kept peace. It also kept problems alive. I put the phone face down and listened to the room. A gull cries. A neighbor laughs through a wall. The kettle clicks as it cools. I am okay. I'm not stone. I'm not ice. I'm an adult who can care without collapsing. I flipped the phone over and pressed play again on Mom's message, this time as if she were a stranger asking for help with numbers. Built her the love. Hear the ask. The ask is simple. Come back. Be the net. Pay, smooth, absorb. The answer is also simple. I won't do those things. I will help us change. I write a small script for myself, the kind I give clients when they have to say hard truths. I hear your worry. I won't send money today. I will gather facts. We will meet with a professional. I will help with structure, not rescue. I breathe with the lines until my shoulders drop. This is not a fight. This is a boundary. Boundaries do not need volume. They need spine. On the counter, the sunlight has moved an inch. I realize I am not bracing anymore. The old spin cycle is quiet. Kira's urgency did not pull me under. Mom's sweetness did not turn into my guilt. That feels like a new skill. It also feels like something fragile I want to keep. There are 4 messages left. Dad's voice is likely inside one. Hospitals live inside another. I'm not guessing. I will listen, then verify. I will not move money because a voicemail said a scary word. I take another sip, set the cup down, and scroll to the next audio file. Message 3. I say out loud, steady as a metronome, and press play. Message 3, Dad. His voice is tight, words clipped like he's cutting rope. This disappearing act is irresponsible, Naomi. You have obligations to this family. We told Kira's partners you'd contribute. Now we look foolish. Call your mother. She's worried sick. I pause it there. I let the word obligation sit on the table between my tea and my notepad. For years, obligation meant immediate yes. It meant drive over, fix it, pay it, apologize for the tone you never used. Today, I write 2 columns. Respect agreement. I can respect my parents. I don't have to agree with their plan. I won't fund a hole to prove I'm loyal. I replay the first 10 seconds. We told her partners you'd contribute. That's a contract they made with my name. I write, expectations set without consent. I take a breath and feel the old heat rise, then pass. Anger is a flare. I need a lantern. I press play again. He ends with, call your mother. He skips asking if I'm okay. We are all playing our parts. Dad, the foreman. Mom, the soft landing. Me, the net. Not anymore. Nets catch. I am not a net. I am a person with a ledger and a life. I delete nothing. I save the message. Documentation matters. I scroll to the next. Message 4, Kira again. She sounds smaller, the edge gone. Naomi, I don't know if you're getting these. The investors backed out yesterday. They said the plan was light, the market crowded. You were right about the privacy stuff. I didn't know how much it would cost. I should have listened. I'm sorry. Please call. I close my eyes and let the apology land without grading it. An apology is not a plan. It's a door. You still have to step through and decide where you're going. I write a clean checklist, the way I do for clients who've had a hard quarter. If I call Kira, not yet. Ask for names of investors. Ask for declined emails. Ask for burn rate to date. Ask for contracts signed, if any. Ask for loans opened, collateral pledged. Ask for who owns what cap table. Ask for privacy counsel consulted, likely none. Ask for MVP scope written by a real dev, likely none. I hear something new in her voice. Fear without bravado. It's honest. Honesty helps. It doesn't change numbers. I stand to rinse my mug and talk to the room like it's a client. We're not doing emergency wires. We're building a picture. We'll verify every scary word before we move a dollar. The kettle pops softly as metal cools. Down the hall, a radio plays a song I half remember from college. I write 3 sentences I can live inside. I will help with structure, not rescue. I will ask for documents, not promises. I will work with a professional in the room. I sit again and look at the phone. 2 messages remain. Hospital, house. Those words tend to turn adults into fire alarms. I won't be a siren. I'll be a clipboard and a calm voice. Before I press play on the next, I add one last line to my pad. Call hospital directly. Never treat the scariest voicemail as fact. Get it from the source. I pick up the phone, steady hand now, and cue the 5th message. The ocean breathes. The clock reaches the 12. I'm ready to hear it, and then to check the truth. Message 5, Mom. Her voice shakes. Naomi, please call. Your dad had chest pains last night. The ER kept him for tests. They think it's stress. We might lose the house. We don't know what to do. Please, honey. I pause and put the pen down. This is where I used to sprint, wallet open, bag packed. Instead, I write 2 lines. Call hospital directly. Ask for discharge status plus next steps. I dial the hospital listed in the caller ID, give my father's name, and ask for the nurse on his floor. She is kind and direct. He came in with chest pain. EKG normal. Enzymes normal. Stress-related hypertension. We're monitoring today, likely discharging tomorrow with medication and follow-up. I thank her and hang up. Relief comes first, then the old guilt, because relief means I can keep thinking instead of rushing. I write a third line. Serious, not critical. Act with a plan. I press play on the last voicemail. Message 6. Kira. Her voice breaks twice. I messed up. After the investors bailed, I convinced Mom and Dad to take a second mortgage so we could prove traction. The bank wants documents we don't have. They're saying words like delinquent and default. Dad won't look at me. Mom is crying. I thought I could make this work. Please help. You know how to fix money stuff. I'll listen. I promise. I stare at the phone. Second mortgage. Documents. Delinquent. Those are not feelings. Those are systems. Systems have steps. I pull a fresh page and write a clean checklist. What I need before any money moves. Full mortgage statements, primary plus second, interest rates, terms. Retirement withdrawal records, amounts, dates, penalties. Bank loan documents tied to the app, if any, collateral details. Business formation papers, LLC/C Corp, who signed what. Cap table, ownership split, any side promises in writing. Invoices/receipts already paid. Current burn total. Any investor emails declining plus reasons. Credit scores parents to understand refinance options. I breathe. I am not hard. I am not cruel. I am careful. Careful is how people keep their houses. I open my laptop and search. Retirement Recovery Advisor Chicago, Housing Counseling HUD approved, mortgage refinance after second lien. I'm not crowdsourcing answers. I'm building a short list of professionals who live in these problems every day. The sun has moved to the other side of the brick. My tea is cold. I reheat it and speak my plan out loud, the way I do with clients so they hear steady more than they hear fear. Step 1. Verify health, done. Step 2. Assemble facts. Step 3. Schedule a professional meeting. Step 4. Set terms for my involvement. No gifts, no blank checks, structure or nothing. I text Carmen, running point on a family money mess. Might be quiet a few days. She replies with a thumbs up and a tiny anchor emoji. Stay steady. Before I write to my family, I read the voicemails once more, not to reopen the wound, but to make sure I'm not writing from it. Then I draft. Subject. Next steps. Monday meeting. I am safe. I will help with structure, not emergency cash. I have scheduled a meeting with a retirement/mortgage specialist in Chicago. Bring every document on the list attached. I will join by video. We will make a plan with a professional in the room. I attach the checklist. I keep the tone clean and simple. No blame. No debate. Just lanes. Before I hit send, I add one last line, for me as much as for them. If we work together, we follow the plan. If not, choose another path from the advisor's options. I send the email and set the phone down. The room is quiet. The ocean keeps breathing. This is not rescue. This is leadership with a boundary. Tomorrow I'll book the room, confirm the time, and print the list for the advisor. The next chapter isn't a wire transfer. It's a table, a folder, and numbers that don't lie. I don't mind being the point person. I mind being the parachute. There's a difference. After I sent the email, I opened my laptop and called 3 offices in Chicago, 1 housing counseling nonprofit, 1 mortgage specialist, and 1 independent financial planner who lists retirement recovery on her site. I picked the planner because she spoke in steps, not magic. I'm Rachel Goodman, she said, calm and awake. Bring everything. We'll map options you can actually execute. We set Monday, 2 p.m. Central, at her downtown office. I asked her to send a short prep list in her words so my family wouldn't feel like I was inventing new hoops. She emailed within 10 minutes. Mortgages, statements, tax forms for the IRA withdrawal, business filings, any loan notes, and a list of monthly expenses. Simple. No shame language. I forwarded it with a subject line that didn't flare emotions. Monday documents required. Then I put my phone face down and let the silence be a hallway instead of a trap. Next, I called my manager in Des Moines. I need 1 more week, I said. Family finances. I'm putting a professional plan in place. She exhaled instead of sighing. Take it, she said. Send coverage notes. We'll be fine. 8 words I didn't know I needed. I made a 1-page brief the way I do for clients before a tough meeting. Agenda. 1. Health update factual. 2. Snapshot of the numbers, no blame. 3. Options from the advisor. 4. Decide a path. 5. Assign tasks with dates. Meeting rules. We talk in I statements. We speak in numbers, not names. We don't decide anything we can't write down. I printed 2 copies and slid them into a folder with a pen clipped to the front. It felt old school on purpose. Paper slows people down just enough to think. In the afternoon, I walked to the water and rehearsed what I would and wouldn't say. I would not repeat the dinner argument. I would not litigate childhood. If past came up, I'd name it once and set it down. Today's problem is today's numbers. Back at the studio, my phone buzzed with replies. Kira, I'll get everything. Thank you. Mom, we'll be there. Your dad is being discharged tomorrow. Dad didn't write. That was okay. People arrive at the same room through different doors. I sent 1 more message to level the ground. I won't wire money. I will consider a structured loan only if an advisor recommends it and we sign terms. Let's see what Rachel says. No thunder. No caps. Just the map. Carmen texted a photo of an ocean pier at golden hour. For courage, she wrote. I laughed because the pier was mine, taken from nearly the same angle I'd used 2 nights ago. Proof that 2 people can stand close and see the same thing without knowing. That evening, I packed my own bag, even though I wasn't traveling, just a habit before big days. Notebook, printed agenda, charger, water, a granola bar I wouldn't eat. I set an alarm and laid out a clean shirt like I was the one going to that office. Before bed, I wrote 4 lines on a sticky note and stuck it next to the others on the fridge. Lead with facts. Offer structure. No blank checks. Leave with a decision and dates. The ocean kept its slow count outside. I wasn't bracing for a fight. I was preparing for a plan. Tomorrow we'd all sit at a table again. This time, the good thing on it would be a spreadsheet. Rachel's conference room had a long oak table, a quiet clock, and a window that turned downtown Chicago into a steady grid. My face sat in a laptop on one end. On the other side, my family, Dad in a jacket that didn't fit right, Mom twisting a tissue, Kira with a plain notebook and no logo on the cover. Thanks for coming, Rachel said. Her voice was calm. Let's make this simple and useful. She stacked the papers they'd brought into neat piles. First, retirement. You withdrew $50,000 early, she said to my parents, tapping a statement. That created taxes and penalties. You netted about $42,000. Second, a second mortgage for $75,000 at a high variable rate because the application was rushed. Payment due next week. Third, the business. She lifted the formation sheet. Filed as an LLC, but expenses and contracts were mixed with personal accounts. That exposes you to risk you didn't plan for. Dad stared at the table. Mom nodded, eyes shining. Kira kept her pen still. Rachel didn't sigh. She drew boxes on a legal pad. Here are your options, she said, writing as she spoke. Option A, refinance plus Titan. Call the primary lender. Ask for a rate and term refi that wraps the second mortgage. Extend the term to lower payments. You'll need a clean budget and proof you can stick to it. Option B, downsize. List the house. Pay off both loans. Move to a smaller place with a fixed payment you can carry. Hard, but it stops the bleed. Option C, bankruptcy as a last resort. It can protect the house in some cases, but it has long shadows. We only consider it if A and B are blocked. She drew a 4th box and looked at the camera. Option D, structured family loan. Naomi lends money to stop the immediate crisis, only inside a written agreement with repayment terms, collateral if needed, and clear triggers if payments stop. No gifts. No verbal promises. She slid the pad toward my parents. Questions so far? Dad cleared his throat. What happens if we do nothing? Rachel didn't blink. You fall behind. Fees climb. The second lender can push toward foreclosure. That would likely destroy your credit and make everything harder. Mom looked at the papers like they were a foreign language. Can we recover the retirement money? No, Rachel said gently. We can soften the impact by adjusting your budget and delaying large purchases. But that withdrawal is gone. Kira spoke for the first time. What about the company? Rachel turned a page. Right now the company is a box with receipts in it. It needs to be closed or rebuilt the right way. If you keep it, you need a real scope, a dev estimate, legal counsel, and capital that isn't your parents' roof. Silence. You could hear the clock. I took a breath. Rachel, I said, please outline the next 7 days if they pick option A with a temporary bridge from me under a loan. She nodded and wrote a list. 1. Today, freeze spending to essentials. 2. Tomorrow, call lenders, request hardship review and refi prequal. Get names and case numbers. 3. Within 48 hours, send a full budget to me and to Rachel. 4. Day 3 to 4. Naomi's attorney drafts a family loan agreement with repayment terms. Funds released only after signatures and lender confirmations. 5. Day 5. Kira applies to 5 jobs daily. Forward confirmations. 6. Day 6. Close company accounts used for personal spend. Separate clean books. 7. Day 7. Family therapy intake. Video is fine. Rachel set the pen down. This is not punishment, she said. It's a plan. If you follow it, you keep your home and rebuild. If you don't, the numbers will choose for you. Dad looked up at the camera. Naomi, he said, voice rough, is this really the only way? It's the honest way, I said. I won't do a rescue. I will do a plan. Mom reached for his hand. Kira stared at her own. The clock ticked once. Rachel folded her hands. You don't have to decide everything right now, she said. But you do have to choose a path today. The payment is due in a week. I watched my family breathe. For the first time in a long time, the room didn't ask me for magic. It asked for a choice on paper. Rachel left the room for 5 minutes so we could talk. The camera showed my parents and Kira sitting with the legal pad between them like it might bite. I spoke first. I'm willing to help, I said, but only inside a plan we can write down. No gifts. No open-ended promises. My dad rubbed his forehead. Say what that means, exactly. Okay, I said. Term 1. If I lend money, it's a formal loan drafted by an attorney with a schedule, interest at a fair family rate, and automatic payments. If payments stop for 60 days, the agreement gives me options like pausing new support or asking for collateral. This protects all of us. My mom swallowed. We can't promise more than we can pay. That's why we'll build the budget with Rachel, I said. We won't sign what you can't keep. Kira looked at me, eyes steady for once. What else? Term 2. We start family therapy. Video is fine. Once a week for the first 2 months. We have patterns that hurt everyone. We need tools to change them. My dad frowned. Therapy? Yes, I said. Money problems are math and behavior. We already did math, now behavior. He didn't argue. He just nodded once, slow. Term 3. Kira, you get a job now. Any honest work that pays. 5 applications a day until you land one. Your paycheck helps the house and repays part of my loan. Kira's voice was small but clear. I'll do it. Term 4. The app either pauses or is rebuilt correctly later. No more spending on it until you have a scoped MVP from a real developer, legal counsel on privacy, and non-family capital. If it comes back, it does so with documents, not hope. Kira wrote the words pause or rebuild in her notebook and underlined them twice. Term 5. My boundary is not up for debate. My savings are for my future, not a permanent family fund. I'll help with structure, but I won't be the net. From now on, big decisions that assume my money require my consent first. If someone makes promises in my name, I will say no. The room stayed quiet. I let the silence work. My mom spoke softly. Naomi, we didn't see it. We kept thinking you were fine because you were capable. We leaned on you because you could hold it. I'm sorry. Thank you, I said. Hearing that matters. Dad looked at the door Rachel had used. If we agree to all that, what happens next? Next, I said. Rachel comes back. We pick option A, Refi plus Titan, with a short bridge loan from me. My attorney drafts the agreement. Funds move only after signatures and lender confirmations. This isn't punishment. It's a guardrail. Kira nodded. I'll email my resume tonight. I'll forward applications every day. Mom squeezed Dad's hand. We'll try therapy. We need help breaking our habits. Dad met the camera. I said things I shouldn't have at dinner. I was wrong to promise your money to anyone. I'm sorry. He took a breath. We choose the plan. I felt my shoulders drop an inch. Okay, I said. Let's bring Rachel back. When she returned, we read the terms out loud. She didn't flinch at any of them. Good, she said. Clarity prevents fights. She assigned tasks and dates, then looked at me. I'll coordinate with your attorney on the loan. We'll set a lender call tomorrow. I nodded. One more thing, I said to my family. If we slip, we don't hide it. We tell each other the same day and adjust. Kira wrote, "Tell the same day" on her page. Mom wiped her eyes. Dad exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for a year. The clock ticked once. The plan was real. We didn't fix the past in that room. We built guardrails for the next mile. And that, finally, felt like help I could live inside. Rachel stepped out to make copies. The door clicked shut. No slides. No advisor voice. Just us and a quiet clock. I spoke first. I'm angry, I said, and I still want us to win. Both can be true. My mom nodded like she'd been holding that sentence for years. I kept telling myself we were supporting the dreamer, she said. I didn't see that I was leaning on the reliable one. I'm sorry, Naomi. Thank you, I said. Intent matters. Impact matters more. My dad cleared his throat. I wanted to be the fixer, he said, staring at the legal pad. When I couldn't fix the money, I tried to buy time with the house. That was pride. I'm sorry for promising your money to anyone. I let it land. I accept the apology, I said. Repair is action. Kira's voice was quiet. I told people you'd invest, she said. I pushed Mom and Dad to sign a second mortgage. I used words like traction without having anything real. I'm sorry. I'll get a job. I'll send the applications. I'll pause the app. Good, I said. We build trust by doing, not saying. Rachel returned with copies, and we moved from feelings to steps. Tasks got names. Dates got ink. When the meeting ended, the plan fit on 2 pages and a calendar. The week after looked like this. Day 1. We called both lenders together on speaker. My dad read the account numbers. My mom wrote down the case IDs. Rachel asked for hardship review and a rate and term refinance that would wrap the second loan. Email confirmations only, she said. No promises over the phone. Day 2, we built a budget that was a real picture, not a wish. Cable package cut. Subscriptions canceled. The MISC line turned into 3 lines with numbers we could prove. We found $380 by telling the truth. Day 3. My attorney sent a draft of the family loan agreement. It was short and plain English. Amount just enough to stop the immediate crunch, interest at a fair family rate, auto pay on the first, 60-day pause clause if things went sideways, and a note that all future asks require a joint call with Rachel present. No surprises. No blank spaces. My dad read it twice and said, "This protects you." It protects all of us, I said. Day 4. Kira set up a simple email filter named Job Proof and forwarded 5 applications by noon: front desk work, marketing assistant, a temp agency, 2 retail roles. Not glamorous. Real. Day 5. Therapy intake. A woman named Dr. Patel looked into the camera and said, "We are not here to vote on the past. We are here to change how you act next time." She gave us rules. Speak in, no interrupting, name the feeling, name the ask. It felt like learning to drive again, slow, awkward, useful. Day 6. We closed the business account that had personal charges mixed in. Kira opened a fresh one labeled Tronorth paused and put the debit card in a drawer. She emailed a short note to the 2 investors who had ghosted. We're pausing. If we return, it will be with a scoped MVP and counsel. Day 7. Lender emails arrived. Hardship review accepted. Refinance review started. A list of documents needed. Rachel replied with a checklist and asked for a named contact. No fog, just steps. That afternoon, DocuSign slid into my inbox. I read the agreement once more and signed. The bridge funds moved from my account to the escrow account, then to the lender, only after confirmations matched the plan. It was the first time I sent money and didn't feel like I was disappearing. We ended the week with a short video call. My mom didn't cry. My dad didn't lecture. Kira held up a small stack of printed applications like proof of weather changing. We're not fixed, I said. We're in motion. Motion beats panic, Rachel said. I closed my laptop and listened to the ocean. For the first time in a long time, the quiet felt earned. 6 months later would tell us whether guardrails hold. 6 months is not a miracle. It's a calendar that tells the truth about habits. My parents kept the house. The refinance finally closed in month 3. The payment is smaller, fixed, and boring, the best kind. A yellow folder on their counter holds lender emails and a checklist with boxes actually checked. My dad tutors 2 afternoons a week at the library. He likes the part where a kid's face changes when a fraction clicks. My mom still keeps coupons in a drawer, but now she keeps a therapy worksheet next to them: how to pause, how to ask, how to listen without turning every problem into an emergency. AutoPay pulls the family loan payment from their account on the 1st. It dings my phone and says one word I've learned to love: received. We haven't missed one. Kira works the front desk at a physical therapy clinic. It isn't a dream job, it is a real one. She wears a plain badge and learns the difference between copay and deductible. She's taking 2 night classes, Intro to Business and a data privacy course she swore she'd never need. Twice a month, we sit on video and look at her budget together. She forwards every application and every rejection to the job proof folder without drama. When she got her first raise, she sent a photo of the pay stub like it was a sunrise. We still meet with Dr. Patel. Family therapy is less like confession and more like learning to shift gears without grinding them. My dad started saying, "I feel instead of you should." My mom says, "What are you asking for?" before she offers solutions. I say, "No," faster when I mean no, and yes, slower when I mean yes. We back up and try again when we blow it. That is new. As for the app, True North is paused in a drawer. We agreed that if it ever returns, it will come back with a scoped MVP, a dev estimate, legal counsel, and non-family capital. The logo hasn't moved in 6 months. That's okay. Not every idea needs a pulse. Some need a shelf. I didn't go back to my old job. After the plan held for 3 months, I resigned cleanly and took a role with a small San Diego firm that teaches financial basics to women starting over, divorce, career change, late life first paychecks. I run workshops called Your First Budget That Works and How to Read a Loan Without Panic. We keep the lights low and the numbers honest. When I talk about guardrails, I'm not preaching. I'm telling the truth we lived. San Diego became home in small ways. Carmen and I trade recipes and bad fonts. I bought a used bike with a bell that makes children smile. On Sundays, I walk to the pier with coffee and no phone. The ocean still keeps time for me. We're not a different family. We are the same people with better boundaries and a calendar full of small proof. When my parents wanted to co-sign a car for a cousin last month, my mom texted first. We told him we have to ask you to join a call with Rachel. If that's not possible, the answer is no. I read it twice, then smiled at the ceiling. I used to think love meant saying yes until there was nothing left. Now it means we all bring chairs to the same table and write the plan down. We still argue. We still forget. But the net is gone, and the people are learning to stand. When I finally turned my phone back on, I thought those 6 messages would pull me under. They didn't. They pulled me forward. Here's what I learned the slow way. Saying no isn't cruel. It's clear. Help works best when it has structure. Love without boundaries turns into debt, emotional and financial. The calmest person in the room makes the best decisions. If you're the reliable one, I see you. People might call you selfish the first time you protect your future. They don't see the nights you carried everything without asking for applause. It's okay to put the weight down and pick up a pen instead. If anything in my story felt familiar, Tell me in the comments, what's one boundary you're going to set this week? It can be small. I'll call you tomorrow. I need that in writing. Or, I can help with a plan, not with cash. Your sentence might help someone else find theirs. If you like stories where calm choices beat chaos, subscribe. I share real, ad-safe stories about family pressure, money truths, and the quiet power of saying no. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you're in a hard season right now, borrow my line until you find your own. I will help with structure, not rescue. Say it gently. Say it twice. Then write the next step on paper. Thank you for spending time with me. I'm Naomi. I chose a different city, a different rhythm, and the same family with guardrails. 6 messages didn't break me. They taught me how to listen, decide, and stay steady. I'll see you in the next story. Until then, breathe, set one clear boundary, and remember, peace you can keep is better than peace you have to buy.